discussed about the configuration priority. So local is the highest priority configuration point of view. Global is the another one. What it means? It means that if you define the same property like author name and email in local, and you have also defined in global, so it will take the local configuration author name and email. So we have discussed these things in our last lecture, right? So we will see now there are some commands actually which are related to the configuration. We'll see those commands. So this command we have already seen, git config global. It will set the username and the email into the global configuration file. Now, if you want to display global configuration files, so this is the command. So let me do one thing. Uh, Let me go to the PowerShell. And let me create a directory. I don't know whether we have created last time or not, but let us go to the cd dot. I'll go to the C drive and I will create a directory called DevOps. Okay. So this directory is created. Now I will go into this directory, which is DevOps directory. Now, let me clear the history. This is a PowerShell command. So whatever the commands I have executed earlier, it will clear those. So when I can run the history command to get all the commands which I have executed in PowerShell. So what I'm going to do, I'm just running this command, git config, right? hyphen global. And so we want to see the list. So hyphen list. Okay. So it is showing in the global configuration file. These three settings are there. Okay. So I was taking another batch for the or AWS DevOps. So there I have set up this code commit. So it is showing these properties. Right. Now, another command is these we have discussed. If you don't mention anything, by default, it is local. Same way you can see the local configuration file list. And these are some scenario-based example local when you are using personal GitHub project, office or company project, you go with the local configuration file. And another scenario is when you have different merge behavior, custom editor, special hooks or aliases, then we can use the local configuration. And here is a comparison between local and global configuration. Right. Now, there is one which is called the system level configuration file, which as a developer, we don't use. It is done by the system administrator wise. So there is a location for that. If you are using Linux, then etc git config. If you are using Windows, so there will be a file under this path. And this is again a configuration file, right? So if I copy this and if I go to my Windows and let me open in a notepad. So see, this is a configuration file. This is the system configuration file. Right here you can see diff, filter, so many settings, which is available for all the users. Until unless you override it in global or local configuration file. So I just have some commands which are very simple commands. Like for example, when we were using the global, so we were writing git config hyphen hyphen global. Same way, if you want to add a new property into the system configuration file, but for that you need the administrative access. You will create a section called core and auto auto CRLF input. So it will create a section which is called core. Under that, it will create a property which is auto CRLF and value will be input. Right. So this is basically enforcing the line ending behavior. So I would suggest that just walk through these scenario-based examples. This is already defined in my GitHub repository, and try to understand this. And if you face any issue, you can ask in next class. Is it fine?
Okay, okay.
Now let us talk about the Git architecture. So even though we have discussed in our last lecture also, but now let us see this in a structured way. So here I will create a directory called MD. We'll create a project, and project name I will say DevOps project. Let me explain certain rules which are basically used by the development team. So Git is mostly used by the development team in the DevOps lifecycle, right? So uh, let me first define those roles. So first one is the code owner. Code owner. So code owner is the one who is responsible for the source code. He's maintaining the repository, responsible for maintaining the source code. Then there will be some developers. They are the participant into the project. So they are basically developing the code and they submit it to the code owner, and code owner will review that code, and uh, he is going to merge into the latest code. So the code responsibility is basically the code owner's responsibility, like creating a repository, maintaining the repository, giving the access, etc. So those things are mainly done by the code owner. Now, when we are talking about the version control system, it means we are having certain source code. So consider that this is code owner machine. So this is code owner machine. And what code owner is doing? He's creating a project from the scratch. So we'll take a project and we will call it as a uh, banking, or we'll take something else. We'll take the banking app. Okay, we'll take the banking app. So he's creating that project on his local system. So first, what I will do, I will take some dummy files which does not make sense. That is only for the learning purpose. Then after that, once we are comfortable with all the commands, then I will take a Spring Boot project, Java project, and and then that will be the real-time project. But initially, I will take a very simple application. So as a DevOps engineer, we are not developing the code, we are deploying the code. But Git, understanding of Git and remote repository like GitHub is very important. Now consider this DevOps project uh, or a banking project. So this is developed by the code owner. So this is a new project, and he's creating the files, project files on his system. So he wants to maintain this on the local repository. Do you remember what is the local repository? Is it GitHub or Git? Which tool?
Local. Hmm.
Yes. For local repository, will you use Git or GitHub?
Uh, Git. Oh, I don't
Yes.
remember. I
Yes. Git is the local repository,
local
and GitHub is the remote repository, which is on the
remote.
cloud based,
Hmm.
right? So it's a distributed version control system where you keep your local repository on the developer machines, and you need to make it in sync with the remote repository. Remote repository is GitHub, GitLab, Azure repos, etc. So now, by this understanding, we will consider this machine is the code owner's machine. So, so I will create a project, right? So I will call it as MD and banking app. So I'm creating this directory. Under this directory, consider we will create the files. I will go into this directory, which is banking app directory. Right? And just help me. Have we already discussed about the working area, stage area, and the commit?
Yes, yes.
We have already discussed. Okay, good. So now what I will do, I will open this project into my Visual Studio Code. So I will go to the Visual Studio Code, and here I will say file, open folder, and the folder name is C colon DevOps. Under that, banking. Okay, so I will open this folder. So now what I will do, I will create some files here. So I will create a file, say business access layer.java file. And here we will write a class, business access layer, or BAL, call it public class. Why it is not helping me? So now here I will write a public static void main function, and I will say simply this is business access layer is executed. So this is my first application file. I will create one more file. I will call it as presentation layer.java. And here also I will write this code because I'm using you know that GitHub Copilot. That's why it is automatically writing the code. Now third is data access object dot Java, right? So DAO dot Java. Okay, and this is fine. Right. So we'll save these three files. Right. Now, one thing we will do, we will create a GitHub account. Creating a GitHub account is very simple. You just go to github.com and create the account there. It will ask your email and some other details like which username you want to use, and it will be created immediately. Okay. So here, what we will do, we will create So GitHub is used for the remote repository. So I will create a repository here, and I'll give the same name as my application name, which is my banking app. So I will just write it banking app, but it is not mandatory. You need to keep the same name. So banking app. Now in the description, it is optional. I will say this is sample banking app. We will make it publicly available. If it is publicly available, anyone can read your repository. For example, you are an open source developer and you want to share your code with everyone. Make your repository as public. You can also make it private. If it is private, only you can see it, or we can also add some collaborators so those can see it, not everyone, right? So public, uh, unlimited repositories you can create in your account, but private is having limit. I believe it is 20 to 25. That is the number, which is keep changing. But this is 20 to 25 private repositories you can create. After that, if you want to create, then you need to you need to purchase the or upgrade your plan. Okay. And README file, I'm not going to create because I want to push my files into this repository, and I will say create repository. Right. So now, uh, as of now, tell me whether this is in the repository, my files are is in repository or not.
No, they're still in the working area. Do not commit for anything.
Excellent, excellent. So not even in the working area, I did not initialize it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so I
Hmm.
will run the git init command.
Init.
So so it will initialize the .git directory, right? So there will be one .git directory. Why it is not showing here? Because it is hidden,
Hidden.
and we are not supposed to touch that directory
Hidden
because it is having our entire repository information, all the snapshots and everything, right? So now I will say git status. So you can see these are the three files. Now what I will say git add dot git commit minus m, and I will say first I will add a business access layer dot java file. Okay, and I will give the file name. This dot slash indicates current directory, but if you give like this, so in this case, I'm adding only one file, which is business access layer dot java file into the repository. Okay, so business access layer file does not match. Okay, let us do it this way. Yeah. So now this file is added into my repository. If I say git status now, so you can see that business access layer. How do you know this commit is done? Git log one
first.
line.
Wait, not one time. Short form.
You can run the git log also. It will give you the full detail who is the author,
Hmm.
and this author is taking from my global configuration file because I have not defined under the local configuration. Now I will do one more commit. I will say git add dot. It's already executed actually. If I say git status, now if I say git and commit minus m, and I will say presentation layer dot java and data access object dot java files are added. Right now, if you don't mention the file name, all the files in the stage area will be added into the local repository. Now, if I say git status, so you can see that there is nothing to commit. Everything is committed. Now, if I say git log one line, so there are two commits. One commit for business access layer and one commit for both presentation layer and the data access object layer. Now, this is on my local machine. Now, consider that there is a developer comes and there is a dev one who wants to join this project. And he's saying, hey, code owner, can you give me the latest code? So one way is that he basically give the entire folder to him. Oh, that is not a good way. So the best practice is that he will push this code to the GitHub repository and he will create a branch for dev1, and dev1 is going to download the code from that branch. That is the best practice or real-time practice. So let us see how we can do that. I'm using PowerShell today, but you can use the Git Bash as I have shown in last lecture. So that also you can use it. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm saying um, uh, first I will have the account on GitHub, and now I have created a local repository. Right now, this is remote repository. It is saying if you want to push an existing repository by using command line, these are the commands. In your case, your repository name is different because it includes the account name and then the repository name. So we need to add this repository. So we need to copy this command and we need to. So what it will do, it will add in my configuration file. Which configuration file? Local configuration file. A origin section, which is basically for the, which is indicating my remote repository. When I run this, I can show you that if I go to that directory, let me go to that directory, which is C and DevOps and banking app. Right? So if you see here .git, right? And if I open this config file, so you can say remote origin. Okay, and this is the URL, and these are the fetch details. Fetch we will discuss, which is basically used to pull the code from the remote repository. So here, this is the one. Now, for example, you are having multiple repository. I have repository one, I have repository two. So there are multiple repository, and those multiple repository you want to add. So say an example, if I say here, git remote, and instead of origin, I will say staging. Okay. And consider there is a different repository, app1. If I add this, now if I go here, so now you can see in remote, there is one which is called origin, which is pointing to my actual URL. And there is staging, which is pointing to the different URL. Okay, so likewise, so main purpose is what? Consider I want to have two repository I want to deal with. One is staging, one is origin or production. So in that case, what you can do, you can add multiple remote repository into your configuration file. Okay. Now, same way, if you want any help, say git remote and help if you want. So you just run this command. In Windows, what it will do? It will open a web page. So here you can see it is showing. Now here you can see git remote add, git remote remove, right? Remove the name. For example, I want to remove. So I'll say git remote and remove. And I want to remove the staging, uh, that reference. Okay, remove. Now if I come over here, now you can see that is removed. So you need not to touch this file. You need to use the commands. Do you understand this?
But there should be only one origin, right?
Yeah, means as of now, we are pointing to one, but we can point to multiple also. You just need to mention that staging or origin which you are pointing to. For example,
Mm.
it is something like that. Um, for example, you are having a code which you want to push it into the staging first. So there's a staging environment and there's a production, two repositories. So now you are having a code. So you want to push that code to the staging first. Someone has to review, approve, then you can push that code into the production. So if you want to do that, then you can create two remote repository, one for staging, one for production. So when you say git push, and instead of origin, you can say staging. So it will go to the staging branch, staging repository. If you say push to origin, then it will go to the production. Will you
But
try that by yourself?
we can directly go to the we can directly go to the production part also. So
Sorry, I don't get you.
I was asking, can we directly go to the production part?
Yes, we means if, because here we are just saying production means origin we are using.
Origin,
So if I say if I want to say git remote or instead of origin, if I say production,
production.
then it will be production. Okay? And if you push
Oh,
and mention production, it
hmm.
will go to the production.
And are there any cases where the staging part
Staging part.
fails, like the project is not getting into the stage part, or whenever we do the staging, it fails. The project fails in the staging part, so that's why it is not going into the production.
Oh, actually, no. So that case is different. Here, what I'm trying to tell you, so you are having a local repository, right?
Mm.
Your project demands that your code first goes into the staging environment or staging repository. So this is a GitHub repository, and you named it as a banking app staging. Okay. So in that case, what I will do, my local repository will push to the staging. Now there is another requirement. Same if if the staging is fine, you need to create a one more copy into some other environment, say origin environment or production environment. So what you are doing now, you are adding one more remote add origin and the URL, because it will have this repository have different URL, this repository will have different URL, right? So then what we are doing, we are adding one more. So now when I run this command, git pull means I want to pull the code. Okay. Pull the code from which git pull origin, if I say origin, and there is something called branch, say main. So if I run this command, so it is pointing to the origin, means this repository. If I say git pull staging main, then it will pull it from the staging environment, staging repository. Okay. Most of the time, we are having only one repository as a remote repository, but we can maintain multiple also. So if you are unable to push the code into the staging, right? If it is failed, but you are able to push it into the production, so yes, that can be possible.
Okay,
So let's have only one repository at this moment, but just wanted to tell you we can add multiple also. Now, what is the next command it is saying? So next command, it is saying that git branch name. So let us see what is our branch name. So we will talk about branch in detail, but here you can see as of now, my branch name is master branch. Git branch command will tell the branch name. So now what I want to do, I want to rename this branch. So The command is git branch minus m main. Why we are renaming it? Because earlier we were using master as the branch where we find the latest code. But now these days we call it main branch. So we just rename it git branch minus m and we call it as a main branch. So we have only one branch, so it will rename to main branch. So now if I say git branch, so you can see it is main branch. Okay. Now, next is that we can push that code to the origin. Now, here there is a twist. The twist is that if we are using Windows, in Windows there is something called Windows credential. Okay. Now, here it maintains all the usernames and their password, which we want to store into the Windows repository or Windows system. See here, git gh. So this is modified. So if I remove this, I will say remove. Yes. So now here, gh, I will remove all these which are in my Windows credential. But it maintains so that, every time you should not enter the username and password. Now this is git dev azure. This is azure. This is azure. We'll see. Is there anything else related to GitHub? Uh, Let me remove this also. So that, we will have a feel that in real time how it works. I don't see anything else related to GitHub. So what I will do, I will now try to push the code. So this is the command by which we can push the code to the remote repository. Git push minus u indicates upstream. Upstream means to remote machine. In the origin, it will take the URL from the origin and it will create a branch on the remote system. If already exists, it will push it into that branch. Otherwise, it will create a new branch. Now, when I'm running this, now it needs the credential. So it is saying select the account. So this is my account. Okay. And so this was already there. I think I have not removed completely. So it is saying online training guide. This is the one. If I select this and if I say continue, right? So it has pushed my code to my remote repository, right? Now, if I refresh this, so you can see that my code is pushed here. But, maybe in your case, it will not work. It will ask for the password. And when you are entering the password of GitHub account, it will not
And they
accept
ask
that.
the code. They ask the code
Yes.
also.
So how to create that? That is called the token. So token with some permissions. So here you can see there is a navigation for the user. So if I click on this and if I open settings, so here you can open in a new tab, right? Here, if I go to the developer settings, so you see here developer settings, and under that you will find personal access token classic. Select this one, and what you can do, you can generate a new token. So you can go here and click on generate new token. Classic. Classic you need to select, okay? And I'm using the passkey, right? So use the passkey. Continue. Right. Here you can give the passkey is nothing but it is a uh, uh, multi-factor authentication. So here I'm giving that name as token one. And this is the expiry date for the token. The difference between password and token is that on token, you can give the permissions like read, write, execute. So here for token one, I'm saying expiring on 19th of means it is for 30 days. That is fine. Or if you want to change, you can change that to the expiry date. And here you can see these are the scopes. I want to give on the complete repository, delete the package, admin level access I want to give. And I will say at the bottom, I will say generate token. Once the token is generated, then you need to copy it and you need to, store it somewhere because it will be visible here. After that, it will not be visible. Again, you need to create a new one if you want to use the token. So I'll just copy this, right? And I will put it somewhere. Right? Notepad. And for now, I will put it here. Okay, and this is supposed to be the confidential. I will delete this token after this call, but it should be confidential. You should not share with others because whatever permission you had given to this token, so if someone is having this token, then they can, and he or she knows your user ID, so they can use it. Now you can copy this token and you can put it into your uh, that password where it is asking and see it will work. It's working.
Yeah.
So you need to copy properly. Give your
Yes.
username. It
Mm-hmm.
worked.
Yes.
That's great. So now, so I have pushed into the main branch. Now let us go to the GitHub repository, right? So here you can see there is a main branch get created. One branch we are having, and there are 3 files. Now you need to understand one thing related to the related to this uh, Git point of view. Files means your file should be there. You need to see the commits. Okay, commits are more important. Here you can see there are 2 commits, and these 2 commits should match with my local commits. See, CD and 0BE. So if I go here and if I say git log one line, see same commit. So it means whatever commits I have created on local, so those commits are on my remote repository. So I will say this is in sync. Right? Now, next is that um, another benefit of this commits. Now, I have these files. Right? I have these files. Let me delete these files. Let me delete these files. So I will go to that folder directly. Okay. And this is the real time scenario. This happened to me. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this all these files. So I have deleted. Now uh, my files get deleted. Let me delete it from the recycle bin also. So if I open recycle bin, so I will delete it from here also. Delete it. Now it means these are permanently deleted. Now I was very tensed because I was creating one website and my entire source code by mistake I have deleted. But I was using the version control system Git. So I can revert back these changes. So now if I say git log one line, so these are the two commits. So what I will do, I will first revert this change because snapshots are maintained into the .git directory. I will say git revert and this commit ID. So it is asking, do you want to revert back this? This is the message. This is a VI editor and colon WQ exclamation or
Colon
WQ.
WQ.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So now delete mode. So if I come over here, right, and okay, it's not showing. Let us see. So git status. Okay. Okay. It is no changes. Okay. If I say git okay, I have done a bit mistake. Mm, Git, just 1 second. So these are in the untracked area. And if I say restore, git restore, and file name, which is presentation layer.java. Yeah, actually, I need to run that restore command. So these files will be restored. Git status. So your branch ahead of origin main one commit, that is fine. Now, see that I did not do for the, now I have lost my business access layer.java file, right? So that is a problem, right? So that is a problem. I need the latest code. I have deleted from my all the directories now, but I have my remote repository. Okay. I have my remote repository. Now, if I say git log one line, so uh, this is actually what mistake I have done. I have added the file. When I say revert, so it is basically removing the file. So that mistake I have done. So that's why I could not, I cannot revert back this file. Let us do one thing. Let us try to revert back this commit. So if I say git and revert and this commit ID, okay, it is saying reapply and colon WQ, enter. Now let us see ls. See, my business access layer.java file is added. Now let me explain you what I have done. I think you have not understood what I have done, right?
But revert is like getting back. When you deleted it, revert is like going back. So I think that file came back again.
No. Yeah, you can think in that way, but that is not 100% correct statement. So see, we were having presentation layer.java file. We are having business access layer.java file. We are having data access object.java file. Right? What we have done? We have done a commit. So there is one commit for this, and there is one commit for this. Sorry, one commit for this, and means you can think in that way. Okay. So now what I have done, I have done the commits in .git directory. There are snapshots because commits have done. Now I have removed these files. When I have removed, it was showing that these files get deleted. I have deleted it from the recycle bin also. So now you are saying I want to restore these files. So you need to run git restore. What it will do? It will go to that snapshot in the Git repository and it will check what is the snapshot and it will revert back the file. But in the case of business access layer.java, I have executed this commit. I revert. So this commit is to add the file. And when I say revert, it is deleting and it was already deleted. Right? It was already deleted. So that's why I could not see that file. So what I have done, oh, by mistake, I have done this, revert. So revert it again. Okay. Means first added becomes add of, means where I was adding this file. So this get reverted, means deleted. Then I say again revert. So it is added again. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
Hmm?
yes.
So this is the one way, which in real time, I faced that issue. My project files were gone and, but luckily I was maintaining this Git. Now you see the purpose of this version control system.
Yes.
So this is really very helpful. Now consider if you are not able, what could be the other way? This is one way which I have shown you. What will be the other way?
Again, like restore.
No, that is one way. What is the other way?
Hmm. To bring back this file again.
Get it from the GitHub repository, right? Because it is there.
Ah, because that is saved there.
Right, right. Okay.
Yep.
So now um, um, there are some commands which I will discuss with you first, and maybe I will take another 5 minutes. After that, we will wind up this call. Okay. So
Okay.
just 5 minutes. So first command is git fetch command. Okay. So fetch command is basically connecting to your remote repository and get the information related to your remote repository. For example, if I go here into remote repository and I will create a new file. So now uh, this file is uh, remote.java file. This file is on the remote repository, not on my local repository. Now I want to pull this change. So the command is git fetch and origin. Origin is nothing but this is my remote repository, me. Or you can simply say git fetch because it is pointing to the origin me. When you run this, it will connect to your remote repository and it is enumerating each object and comparing. And it is saying there is one delta. Delta means difference. And but still you will not see any file. You will not see any, that commit message. Now, if you think, yes, I need that file, then you can run git and git merge with origin me. So what it will do? It will merge with the remote repository. So whatever the changes we are having there, so that will be applied. See, one file is changed. Now, if I say ls, so you can see remote.java file is there, right? Now, if I say git log, because this is important, you need to know you need to know that whether the commit says also edit, yes. This is one commit, and this commit is basically on my remote repository, right? Now, if you are confident, I don't want to see the delta first and then merge it. So you can use the pull command. So pull command is combination of fetch and merge command. So what I will do, I will add one more file here, and file name is, say, new remote.java file. Okay. I will commit this, commit the changes. And now I will say git pull origin main branch. Okay. So there is a commit message. If you want to change, you can change this. I'm not changing it. And I'll say colon WQ. And now one file is added. Now you can see new remote.java file is also there. So pull command is important. It's a combination of fetch plus merge. And it will go to the remote repository, get all the commits. Okay. Now, if I say git and status, okay, everything is up to date. Git pull command is clear.
Yes.
Okay. Now, git push command to push to the branch. So if I say git push origin and main branch, origin indicates the remote repository. And so it is asking which account, this account I want to push, continue. So it pushed, everything is now up to date. Okay. So now here, if I go and if I see the commits, if I go to the code and see there are 8 commits. Okay. Because we have done deleting, restore, whatever we have done, revert. So everything is here. Now, if I say git and log, so here it should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All same ditto, it is same. All right. Do you understand this? Pull command and push
Mm.
command.
Push command. Yes.
Okay. Rest of the things we will discuss in next lecture.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mm.